Hi everybody, welcome to G for G here on YouTube. Today we're taking a look at Marvel Future Fight and some changes that I think are coming on the 21st. Today's background music is brought to you by Nick Johnston. The album is called Atomic Mind and a link will be in the description. It's been a while since I get to do a music-y video because most of the games have had their own music and sounds and been pretty good. So, nice to do that again. Mobrium has just released what their mid-patch update is going to be, which will be the 21st, which should be Wednesday. 4 people are getting T2'd, one of which is a bit of a surprise, and the other 3 are Asgardian, fitting with the current Asgard boss invasion and whole bunch of stuff that we're getting over there. So, first up is J-Thor. Jane Thor, Lady Thor, Thor Tits, however you want to call her, Thor with boobs is getting an update. She is ranked pretty low on the universal scale. Going by this one guy's fairly well accepted grid on Reddit, she's pretty low down in the universals. So this grid has a God rank, a super rank, and then A, B, C, and D. D only has 1 in the universals. Ultron Prime. And I feel so bad about that because I T2'd Ultron first. He was my first tier 2 that I ever got because it was so easy to get his bios. I kind of didn't exactly know all the pro stuff at the time. And I was like, yay, I have so many of his bios and I could throw subs at him. And he's so easy to farm. T2 him. And now I see this chart and it's like I threw pearls before swine. I literally tried to shine a shit and still have a shit. I like him though. I'm fine with my tier 2 Ultron. I'm not saying he's a god, but I like him. Jane Thor is down in the C tier. C tier for Universals is Vision Destroyer, Angela, and J Thor. Ironic. Coming up just in a little bit, we'll talk about that. But apply to self, skill damage up, increase the bonus damage, guaranteed dodge, increase lightning damage by 60%. It could mean that with a lightning obelisk, she might do a lot of damage at tier 2. Maybe. It might knock her back from the C tier up into a B tier. I don't know. A guaranteed dodge is okay. It's not an immunity, and you can dodge meteors during Meteor Day in AB. But, yeah, I don't think she's going to be that great. She might be pretty good on teams, like Asgardian teams that give her bonuses, or maybe a Ronin-induced Universal team, Ronin-led team or something, but I don't see her climbing completely out of the dirt. Angela. Now, Angela's somebody that I've always liked whenever I get to use her in games. The Guardians of the Galaxy mobile game, Perfect Weapon, she seemed kick-ass in that. I've always liked her in Marvel Future Fight, but I've not been able to use her that much lately because she's only 50 for me. I have her all-new, all-different outfit, which I call Witch Angela, W-I-T-C-H Angela. Not which way did she go, Angela. And I've had a somewhat spoken of desire to put her with Damon and Satana and make a flame team out of Witch Angela and the siblings, thinking that they would be just great with all fire stuff. Fire obelisk, the fire damage, etc., etc. I might now finally be able to see that. Unfortunately, Angela bios, I don't think you can get anyway in the game by farming. I think you have to throw her PvP tokens. I forget how you get her in the game currently. I'll have to check. But I think a tier 2 Flame Angela might be really nice, especially with Flame leadership. Some people have also said Ghost Rider and Red Hulk. That may be true, but my Red Hulk or Rolk and my Ghost Rider have been trash for a long time. Let me see. I've been running the co-op missions here for gold so that I can finally finish my Angela. Not my Angela, my Proxima. How do you get Angela? Let me take a look at her real quick. I think she is a shop token, but I know she's not paywalled, so that means any of your universal selectors can be dumped on her. So mine's a 50 with 61 out of 60. And yeah, she's a dimension shifter. She shows up fairly frequently in just doing PvE as a shifter, but there's no reliable way to get Angela. Which means if you want to work with her, you're probably going to be using a lot of selectors for her. That being said, you can start a mission, and if you don't get a shifter, force close out of it, not lose energy. So you could jockey the system if you want to luckily farm Angela, luck-based. Asgardian Blood is only a reduction in crowd control, so that's not too special there, but it could be good against some world bosses that have lots of stuns and confuses and everything. Loki. So, Loki is one of those characters that when people first get into the game, and I'm in a lot of groups that straddled Marvel Avengers Alliance when it was alive, and Marvel Future Fight. For example, Adamantium Process. We, being in this alliance, we sat over the top of both games. So you see a lot of people gravitating to Marvel Future Fight that came over from MAA. People go like, well, how do I start? What do I work on? Like, what diving board am I going to pick? Everybody says, work a Carnage, work a Silk, work a Black Widow, but that one's falling down a little bit. Work an Ant-Man, at least up to tier 1. You don't have to tier 2 them. Sharog, now Doctor Strange, and always Loki. Like, get Loki, Fem Loki him, and you will see what he does. Well, that being said, that has always put Floki at the top of the Universal chart. So, if we were to look at the Universals, the God tier has Odin and Thanos, no pun intended. And then after that, in the Super tier, it's the Black Order, along with Loki, but not Black Dwarf. So it's Proxima, Corvus, Shuggy, Ebony Maw, and Floki. And then the tier below that, you have the remaining Black Order, and, you know, people like Thor and some stuff like that. So he has enjoyed a super high popularity in the limited tier 1 pool. He's kind of the big man on campus when it comes to that. The fact that he's finally going to get tier 2, I'm surprised. I thought they might ride out Loki and one other a little bit more because they're so strong in tier 1. The fact that he's going to become tier 2, can he leave the super tier? I don't think so, because the only thing higher than that's God tier. I don't think he's going to become God tier. I really don't. I mean, Odin and Thanos, that's heavy competition. Can he affirm his place at the top of non-God universals? Most likely. Yeah. So he's going to get an increase to cold damage, running with the cold obelisk to help that. Increase in skill damage, increase to bonus damage, increase to all attack and defensive summon characters, and then hit points, and 15% duration increase of summon characters. 15% duration, as long as they don't up the cooldown, means you can ride your cooldowns a little bit better with him. You're going to maybe have your clones up more, or not have as much downtime where you can't summon clones. And increase cold damage, that's good. People are kind of freaking out about this change, though. There's a lot of people being retarded about it. But we'll get to that. And then finally, Hulkbuster, or as I like to call him, Blackbuster, because I have the black suit. Blackbuster is getting a T2. So this is the other guy that I thought, along with Floki, they would get to later. Because if Netmarble was aware of any of the player base in this game heavily, Most people consider these guys fairly top when it comes to non-T2able people. Now, the chart has Hulkbuster down in the B tier. So he's not ranked as high as Loki, but I think a lot of newbies are attracted to Hulkbuster. He sounds great in the game. He has high hit points. He's tanky. I think he appeals to a youthful player. It's like, oh god, it's the big Iron Man from the movies, and he sounds like a fucking Transformer in the game when he's punching somebody. It sounds like Optimus Prime just rapidly punching Megatron in the face or something. Bang, 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 bang. I've always liked Hulkbuster. He's been part of my PvP team for a long time. He's always been part of what I call my A-team, like my high-level characters that do missions and all the hard shit. I used to bring him to world bosses to tank enrages from bosses, like that teal bar that sometimes you can't penetrate, like if you didn't bring a physical or an energy, and that's what counters it. He's fallen off a bit simply because not that he sucks, I've just kind of progressed past him. I've started to get some Black Orders, my Doctor Strange is finished, my Proxima's almost finished, Chanty's around, Sharog is another big one that kind of replaced him. Carnage being tier 2'd and everything. He just stayed in place in the world evolved around him. That being said, I still like him. His missile barrage ability in the Blackbuster uniform really gets him out of trouble. And if you get that good distance and you lock people down with that like Veronica shell, you could get the lasers off and then you can move around. So he's getting a speed increase. He's getting skill damage, and the heavy-duty exoframe passive is getting buffed. That heavy-duty exoframe is a physical immunity. Not all immunity, just physical. So, pretty solid for, like, if you're struggling on a Black Dwarf. You might be able to run him now against Black Dwarf to, like, tank the spins or something. It's cool that he's going to get T2'd, and I think some newer players will enjoy that. I can remember what it was like for Hulkbuster to be the login bonus. I remember that time period. And that's probably when I started really liking Hulkbuster. So I'm happy to see Floki and Blackbuster and Angela too, although Angela's a little bit more back burner for me. And I really don't care about Jade Thor. So here are some more updates. This, by the way, we're going to come back to this. Loki's illusions will still be untargetable. Alright, coming back to that, we have character balancing. Angela's enemy detection radius increased. Blades of Ichor, iframe. Entangle, iframe. Instant iframes. Hulkbuster, including Blackbuster, skill damage increased by Barrage Strike, which is the missiles. And then Black Panther gets a huge bunch of updates here. I'm not affected by this, but a lot of people are very happy about it. And other changes, fixed an issue with Fandrel's Fandrel formation. So here are the comments. Keep in mind, note, Loki's illusions are still intangible. Increased defense and hit points for Loki's clones? What the hell is this, a joke? His clones can't even get hit but receive a boost in survivability? Now, when I read this, I thought they could go one of three ways with Loki's clones before I saw the note. So when I read the note, it changed my mind. One, the clones are still going to be intangible. Nothing will change about them. Nothing can target them. Nothing can kill them. Probably not going to happen. That's what I originally thought. That choice one was not going to happen. They were going to make them hold aggro and grab aggro like Ultrons. Choice number two. They are going to grab aggro. They're going to be out on the field with hit points just like Ultron, just like Blast Pin, Kingpin, Bling Pin, whatever you call them. And this will change the way Loki is played, or where the focus is when you're playing Loki. Choice number three, they will be out on the field, they will have hit points, they will be killable, but they will not necessarily grab aggro like the ninjas or the Ultron drones. They will just be out there but can take incidental AoE damage, in other words. That note that says they're still untargetable makes me think they might really go what I call choice 3. They'll be out there on the field. They do have hit points if, say, you drop them too close to the Frost Beast and he spin swipes. He might take out the clones now. That means the skill cap of Loki players is going to get much, much higher. You're going to have to make sure you, like, drop them way in corners, kite people. You may have to babysit your clones now, which could introduce a level of fun and skill and not automatic, autonomous playing of Loki. You might get a little more stressed with him, but, you know, it still remains to be seen if they're going to just be completely intangible the way they were, and they're just writing in the code to be more in line with other people who have that code, like Clea and everything, or option 3 is going to happen. If you drop them in shit, they may die. You know, if somebody drops a big fireball on the ground, or like a Satana flame tornado, and you misplay your clones, you might lose them too quickly. So, most of the things are like, yay, Hulkbuster's getting it. Oh, yay, Black Panther. In page 2, somebody's really, really happy about Angela, which it's nice for me to see. Too sad for Hulkbuster. Would have liked more immunity or super arm, maybe come back, whatever, broken ass fucking English. I think they could have done a little bit more with Hulkbuster. What the speed means is that it's not just foot speed, it also means it's attack speed. But I kind of consider him an ability character, not an auto attack character, to use HOTS terminology. Songbird, to me, can very easily be an attack character. Push people away, root them, and then just sit back and just X-fire, X-wing people down, and then if they get close, pop the shield, run around, do her explodey AoE one where she constantly pulses the slashes on the ground, and then, you know, rinse and repeat. Push people away, keep people away, auto-attack, oh, they're closing shield time, run away. Hulkbuster could have gotten a little bit more, but I think Netmarble's like, look, he's already so fucking tanky as he is. You know, we'll just add a little damage to him. Also, where's Destroyer? Happy about Hulkbuster, but Destroyer would have made more sense. This guy's got a point. They could have backburnered Hulkbuster and done Destroyer to go along with the Asgardian stuff. But maybe Destroyer really isn't part of this plot in the comics, but I think this guy's got a good point. Still no T2 Destroyer, blah, blah, blah. Don't Clea summons, get it. Loki's not really Asgardian, and we gotta get T2 ticket sales. This guy, I want to reach through the net and smack him. Loki summons is invisible. What's the point of increasing its defense and hit points? 52 question marks. Is this some kind of joke? 52 minus 10 question mark. Lol, stupid update, just plain stupid. I hate people like this on the net. People who overreact and show their stupidity because the guy clearly doesn't read, and you just look like an idiot when you flip out when it's your own fault. I mean, there's other ways of asking that in a more adult and coherent manner without 52 question marks. Fixing Volstag's iframes, I'm not really familiar with that. People like, it's a mid-patch update, don't expect earth-shattering stuff. So, you know, here's how I'm going to think of it on Wednesday when this goes live. If it's written like this, 35% of all summoned characters, is something wrong with this. It's been a copy-paste from Ultron's T2 passive. Well, here's one guy saying maybe they typed it wrong, which could be a possibility. Isn't that Loki's hit point? So, yeah, I think maybe Ultron and Kingpin are the only ones who hold aggros, whereas Clea and the others are just incorporeal. I like this guy. I mean, he used the right word for it. But congratulations, you used an SAT word on the net. I like this guy already. I'm very, very close to being able to tier 2 my Loki. He's 6'6", and has a bunch of 19s and 18s. And the fact that I know I could use a universal selector on him to push him into the finish line, I think the moment the patch drops, he's T2'd. Instantly. I mean, I'm going to use a ticket, but he's really, really close and is not going to require a lot of work. I've never siphoned off his bios to other people. As far as I know, I never touched Hulkbuster's bios. Fortunately, I do tend to farm Ultron levels to shift Ultron out to the Black Order and stuff. But, yeah. Here is my plan when this goes live. T2ing Loki instantly. It's like game install, use some universal bios on him, 100, 200, whatever, and level those 19s and 18s to 20, slap them with a T2 ticket, bango kabingo, everything's done. Angela, I want to push, but she's 50, it's going to take longer, there's no reliable way of farming her. She's going to get backburnered behind, she's going to be lower priority. Hulkbuster, I have to check how many bios I have for him currently. I have updated some of his gears. I don't think he's as high as Loki. He may get a big combat selector on him, like a 200 selector. I still don't know where I can fit him in. My combat days tend to be like Carnage based and everything like that, but in a world boss, it means he might actually do something more on the field than just tank a big explosion or something. Maybe he can kind of get his own world boss entry. I don't think so, because he won't have a heal, but maybe in a very physical world boss like Dwarf, he might be able to do something there. We'll see, but that's kind of my plan. So let me know what you think about the patch. Let me know what you think about what I've discussed here, what they might do with Loki. Between now and Christmas, I'm probably going to go away on the 23rd to visit my parents. I'm going to hopefully do a video on the patch when it actually goes live, and then maybe sneak in one last video about Marvel Avengers Alliance, and wrapping up the entirety of the game, since 2016 is going to wrap up, and that's when the game died. Close out 2016 with a final discussion on MAA, and maybe like a how I did my videos for it, and the history of the game. So, take care everybody, talk to you soon, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.